But my main message is to the parents of Trayvon Martin. If I had a son, he'd look like Trayvon. And, I think they are right to expect that all of us as Americans are going to take this with the seriousness it deserves, and that we're going to get to the bottom of exactly what happened.
A little more than 8 years ago, 17-year-old Trayvon Martin was killed by George Zimmerman. It was Zimmerman's eventual acquittal that helped lead to the formation of the Black Lives Matter movement as an organized rallying cry. And that cry has now essentially become the name of this 21st century civil rights movement, which has grown only stronger than ever following the death of George Floyd. We've seen multiple people in this movement who have engaged in protests and advocacy work move into politics and seek elected office. Congresswoman Lucy McBath, whose 17-year-old son Jordan Davis was killed in 2012, the same year, also in Florida. She now represents a district in Georgia that includes Atlanta suburbs, and she's seeking a second term in November. Leslie McSpadden, the mother of Michael Brown, was killed by police in 2014, ran for a seat on the Ferguson City Council in Missouri last year, but came up short. And now Trayvon Martin's mother is running for office. Sabrina Fulton first announced her campaign for a seat on the Miami-Dade Board of County Commissioners last year. This week, she announced she has officially qualified as a candidate, and Sabrina Fulton joins me now. It's great to have you on, Ms. Fulton. I wonder if you could just talk about your decision to run for office, how you came to think that was a path for you.
I've worked for Miami-Dade County, the seat that I'm trying to reach right now. I've worked for Miami-Dade County for 20 plus years. And as I did my research to try to decide what seat I felt would be best for me, I decided that I'm a longtime resident of Miami-Dade County. I'm a longtime employee of Miami-Dade County. I've gone to elementary, middle school, high school, and college right here in Miami-Dade County. And so I'm used to being service to the residents. And so I just felt that that was the best place for me. A lot of times people go for higher levels, but I just felt like, even though I'm a national figure, I felt that my passion belongs right here in Miami-Dade County.
I know that you were at George Floyd's funeral, and I can imagine how difficult that was for you. And I wonder how you deal with being involved in this struggle when the trauma and emotional pain of it must be extremely present in your life.
Absolutely. Sometimes I have to take time out, just for myself, just to grieve other people's death. Sometimes I find the similarities with what has happened and some of the things that happened with Trayvon, with Eric Garner, with, Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, Jordan Davis, Dante Hamilton, Oscar Grant. Like, I find the similarities, and sometimes I just have to be quiet. I have to grieve in my own time and come out in my own time and decide to talk. It took me a minute for me to even talk about Ahmaud Arbery's death, because Trayvon was minding his own business as well. And he was walking through a neighborhood. This young man was jogging through a neighborhood, and people can think they can take the law into their own hands. And so now I'm just grateful that people are able to see what we have as African Americans been complaining about for quite some time.
What do you think about the moment we live in now? The phrase Black Lives Matter, I think, was first posted as a kind of rallying cry in the wake of the acquittal of George Zimmerman. It has become the name for this movement that is the most vibrant social movement of recent memory, I think. I mean, we've seen the most sustained and widespread protests in a very long time. What do you think is happening right now?
I think people are more aware. I think the complaints that African Americans have been having, like other people have actually saw it because of the video. I think this has happened so many times, but we didn't have a video. And so now that we have video, it's picked up momentum because you actually seen a young man being killed by the police right in front of your face. And once you see that, you can't take it back. It tugs at your heart. it tugs at your mind and you say something is wrong. They did not treat him as a human being. We all should be treated as a human being, regardless of your race, your religion, your sexual orientation, regardless of any of those things. You should be treated as a human being. And so we have to get back to the basics, Chris.
Final question for you. I think I had seen some discussion of your ideas policy-wise on the county commission. There's been this call to defund the police in response to police abuse. It's a long-standing call. It's not just in the wake of George Floyd. But I wonder how you think about reform and what you think about the phrase.
Well, I actually think something has to be done. We cannot have police with the authority to just kill somebody and take somebody's life and so nonchalantly as if his life didn't have value. And we need to value everybody's life. But I think that before you defund the police departments, we need to look at other areas that might be able to help the police department do what they need to do, like social services, like Parks and Rec, to get our young people off the street. And then also you need to make sure the police have the proper training. You need to make sure that they understand that you can say something and you can speak out if something is not going right. We have to know right from wrong, even police officers. And so now we come into a end where we have to determine who's policing the police. And so we got to make sure that that's in place. Before we move forward with anything, we have to make sure that that's in place. If they need counseling, then we need to get them counseling. If they have drug or alcohol problems, we need to address those issues. And then we need to make sure that they have some type of sensitivity training, because we cannot have a life being taken as if it has no value. Every life has a value.